Hello, this is Panagioti Likourentzos, and I'm doing my solo podcast for English 11. Um, the assignment was to discuss um, two questions about the boys in the boat. So the first question is: in what ways are the specifics of rowing, the technique, the boats, the teamwork required, metaphors for what the boys, particularly Joe, learn about life and friendship over the course of the novel? Well, I'm just going to explain it a little bit. In the story of the nine Americans and their epic quest for gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics, the characters are given a task that would carry them out of boyhood and into manhood. These young athletes face many tasks in this great novel, which mainly consist of a make or break situation. The sport of rowing is said to require neither superhuman strength and will. These boys have different backgrounds and were all brought up to be different men. The protagonist in the story is made out to be Joey Rance. His childhood was very sad and he grew up differently from everyone else. He was always alone and scared. His father wasn't always there for him. Joey had to survive on his own. So, um, well, um, rowing is said to be a very sophisticated sport, and this novel tells you how this Olympic rowing team started from scratch, from the technique with the Cannibier stroke and all the training Al Ulbrichtson has put them through. Also, with George Pocock's handcrafting these fine rowing boats these boys used. The whole team of young boys were mostly inexperienced except for Roger Morris, who had prior experience with rowing. Every member of the coaching staff has either experience or knowledge of the sport in order to make these boys the best. Al Ulbrichtson is said to be one of the best college rowing coaches in the United States. Um, there's a little bit on Joel's backstory where he was raised by his father for a little bit, Harry Rance, and his mother, who died young of throat cancer. His father remarried and had other kids who were Joe's half siblings. His family moved all across the country and then found a stable living in Sequim. I don't know how to say that. The Great Depression was boiling and everyone was struggling to survive. Poverty spread and people were going homeless and bankrupt and dying of starvation. But the Joey but Joey was stuck living by himself, and he found ways to take care of himself. He was singing in a band for money or raising and selling crops. Joey did his best to support himself and get to college, and then yeah, by himself. And also, really, while Joey supported himself in every financial aspect of his life, Joey was given the opportunity to enroll in the university's rowing program under the freshman team, even though Joey was discriminated and seen as an insubordinate. Joe outperformed everyone and had great potential. Through a lot of training physically and mentally, Joey and his team moved state by state to compete in many different competitive races, the top schools against the top schools. Throughout Joey's career in rowing, he learned that most importantly, competing and with his team and friendship is also very important. He learned to understand that every person on the boat affected the way they race. There's a very special and difficult technique when it comes to rowing. Each oarsman has a similar but difficult job, whether it's shifting the boat's position or changing power and speed to increase stability, and the strategy is to pull an oar through the water as smoothly as possible, as hard and as frequently as requested by the coxswain. This is basically explaining the specifics of rowing, the technique, how the boats work, how the teammates and the teamwork makes this work, and particularly Joe. You're learning about his life and the friendship over the course of the novel through me explaining this to you. This team of strong men can propel the boat at incredible speeds while complying with each other's actions. In 1936, Joe and his team were rowing in Berlin and representing the American people in the Olympics. Here's the second question. Rowing is a sport that is heavily affected by weather. Well, weather also affects many other sports, but rowing has to do with water. So if it's raining, it's very hard to see. If it's windy, there's a lot of waves, and you have to, lower the stroke rate and increase, a bunch of different things. Um, from heat waves to blizzards to strong winds, like I just said. Brown uses historical weather conditions to add context to various races. In what ways does the weather he describes mirror the character's internal thoughts or feelings? So, really, um, there have been many cases of weather delaying or canceling events throughout history worldwide. These boys must practice rowing in the cold, snow, and the humidity. In some cases, the boys would race in the windy and wavy waters. These boys learned to row in many conditions. The wind throwing the boat off course mirrors Joe's life problems, and with everyone and everything pushing him out, and he needs to get back stronger. In late 1933, during the Black Blizzard, and also when Hitler pulled Germany out of the League of Nations to prepare for war, rowing practice would be challenging. The Black Blizzard reflects the inner feelings of every character in the Washington crew, blinding their vision of the future, causing them to panic due to doubtfulness. And I feel like this was a great book, and there's many different aspects to it that are inspirational. And thank you. Bye.